Hey everyone, this is Jeff Shuck and Jennifer Mulholland, and we're the authors of Leading with Light, Choosing Conscious Leadership When You're Ready for More.
Recently on our podcast, Plenty for Everyone, we shared 10 conscious leadership lessons we've learned in our 10 years of working together. Each of these 10 lessons highlights one of the concepts we share in our book.
We hope you'll enjoy this glimpse into our book, Leading with Light, and we hope you'll buy it. It's available March 2024.
Our number 5, one of our favorites, is the practice of deeply listening. Or deep listening is how we talk about it. But this idea that not just listening with our ears, but listening beyond the form, listening beyond the words somebody uses, listening to the cues that are being shown to you outside of yourself or in another person that is engaging with you. What do you notice? What do you see? What do you sense? And noticing it as you are in relationship with that person or conversation or topic, listening deeply to the cues that your body are sending you inside.
Yes,
What is
yes.
your inner voice saying? Is your inner voice saying this is bullshit? Is your inner voice saying, yeah, that makes a lot of sense? Is your body relaxed and open? Or is your body tense and wanting to get the hell out of the conversation? I feel like there's such a need to practice deeply listening to each other, dropping from the surface exchange to the deep connection that we're yearning for. And the only way we can do that is going back to number 1, is being fully present, right?
Yeah.
But being fully present invites us to drop in more deeply. And when we can notice the cues that are happening outside of ourselves or in another, we get the opportunity to not only have broader awareness to what's going on, but we also have an opportunity to check out what we're seeing
Mm.
or sensing or hearing. And I don't feel like we have that well practiced in society. Maybe if you have gone to therapy, you're taught the art of mirroring back. This is what I hear you say. Is this accurate? It's a really helpful coaching tool, human tool, right? But what I think this has sparked for us is we have the privilege of working over several years with some of our clients. And so we get to know them really well.
Hmm.
And not too long ago, one of our executives on our biweekly calls came on, and she just wasn't herself. She felt distracted and down, and something else was cueing us to be curious about what is going on. And I'm really glad we asked, and we kind of stopped the nature of the business conversation and
Yeah.
just asked what was going on with her. She felt so seen and heard and supported that we cued into that. And I felt really good that we did. And it reminded me to constantly check out what we're seeing and sensing so that we can know if it's true or not. Because sometimes it works the other way, like you're picking up on something and being empathic, like it's easy to pick up on a lot of people's energy, especially when we work with groups. It's hard to know what you're picking up. And
Hmm.
so sometimes reflecting back and checking in can really help um, create congruency, like can dissolve dissonance, can create more alignment with you and the other person, that they really feel heard and seen because you have cued in to deeply listen to where they're coming from, not necessarily exactly what has been said or what you're talking about. So it's something that you and I practice a lot in our co-leadership, especially on our standing awesome hours we have every day to
Yeah.
align our leadership and our work. That sometimes we've had a really rough night, or we've had a lot going on with our kids or family, or we didn't sleep. And so the mood is different. And learning to check that out, like what's palatable to discuss, where are we in our mental mindset that day to be able to take on what we're is on our calendars. Those kinds of checking out and deeply listening has become a really helpful practice, I think, with our clients, our Lantern graduates, of reading the room, but also with our team and our co-leadership.
Yeah, I love this. This feels so present right now because we're, as I said earlier, we're coming off of a week at Lantern, which is just about deep sharing and deep listening. And it's so rewarding that we have people say to us, I never felt like I've been listened to like I was. And not about how we listen to them, but about how their colleagues, their podmates listen to them. Um, I think you did an incredible job of sharing that. There's just 2 points I wanted to underline, and one is something that we say at the beginning of every retreat that you brought up, this idea of listening to yourself, about not taking your thoughts at face value, about attuning to what in many people is a constant, never-ending stream of internal chatter. And when you can just be aware of that a little bit, there's that word awareness again, you can look at it a little more dispassionately and see that it doesn't necessarily embody you, that it represents a set of thoughts that you can choose or not. And I think that idea of deeply listening, not only to my leanings, my urges, what I like, what I don't like, but can I see the chatter when I get caught in that wave of chatter? How do I just lift my feet up and float out of it? The other thing that I think we practice a lot, and that this is going to sound arrogant, but I think it's more needed in the world, I'll just say, is that idea of listening beyond position, listening not for debate. I think many of us, in the way that we teach in this country, at least, are taught to listen to win an argument, right? Back to what I was sharing on the last point. That's very different than listening for understanding, listening for someone's intent, listening for commonality, listening for alignment, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. And, just listening to respond so I can win the argument. I mean, it infuriates me to watch political debates now for so many reasons. But the biggest is like the listening is so bad. Nobody even cares to have, it's not a debate. It's just a set of responses that don't really even depend on what the other person said. So I find debate deficient to begin with. And then the idea that the responses are just detached from the other comments just doesn't resonate with me at all. And deeply listening is about listening for listening beyond position. There's probably an easier way to say that. That might be a little
Mhm.
bit inside baseball, but I'm not trying to decide if I agree with you or not. I'm just trying to understand what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so powerful. I love that point. And just only you know how you're showing up if you're trying to, communicate or listen from one position. And I think as our awareness expands, we get to try on different points of view and perspectives. And that's part of awareness. I think the other point you made, I just wanted to offer a specific example that dropped in around listening to your own dialogue in a certain situation, your own voice and pattern. So when I was in my young 20s, I was studying with a spiritual teacher, a healer, and a Jungian psychologist who taught me how to interpret dreams and work with a lot of different healing energies. And um, I trained with her with intuitive development and lived on her organic farm for 5 years and shadowed and apprenticed how to facilitate group therapy, vision quests, had many past life regressions, and it was intense healing work. And after about 5 years of time, during one of the group sessions, I was scribing, and that was kind of my role. I would track everything, and then we would talk about what I learned from the group, and it was quite intense. And um, through a series of kind of growing up and seeing that I was really giving my power away to her, there was one moment, it was a Thursday night intuitive development session that had been going on. This was a small group of people that met twice a week for 6 months, and, this was probably the 4th or 5th year doing this, and in my journal, I remember writing, "This is bullshit." And that to me was like, I
Ding,
had
ding,
been
ding, ding,
thinking
ding.
about like just, oh, this doesn't resonate anymore.
Yeah.
And wow, I've given so much power away. And it wasn't until that moment when I actually wrote with my own hand, "This is bullshit," in my journal, that really got me to kind of come out. And more to say on that whole experience, but it's what you're talking about is like really listening to your own inner dialogue, your own inner
Yeah.
speak, because it can be really helpful to really deeply listen to what is working for you and what is not in the moment, and how that can govern and help you navigate where you choose to show up. So anyway, the it felt really powerful, and I never clued in that that was a deep listening moment, but it changed my life. It really changed the trajectory in wonderful ways and hard ways, at that
Mm.
time.
I